Do you want to start navigation?
Yes. Oh, yes. Gonna wait for the beep. Still catches me out, that does. Can go that way, can we?
I've seen people go that way.
Okay.
I think it's wide enough.
There's no arrows, is there?
No.
I've got to do the toilet same as the rest of us.
Yep.
Is this open as you get there? Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like we're going right at the end.
Yeah, that would seem logical.
Alright, we're off to Warkworth Castle.
Yeah, which is about 80 miles away. Going to take us about half an hour. Back down the B1340.
Yeah. Just going to retrace our steps back to the where we came, I guess. And
Yeah, I think we turn off onto another road
how do we?
further down, yeah. But
Yeah.
we're on the same road for a bit. Yeah, it is.
I don't know if you can see that on the GoPro at Dunstanburgh Castle over there. Dunstanburgh Castle. Get it right.
Now turn right. In 200 yards, turn right, then take the first exit from the roundabout onto the A1068.
Right.
No, left. The old Mr. Satnag gets very confused sometimes. There it is.
It is, yeah. Said that was together, didn't we?
Quite impressive.
In 200 yards, bear left and follow the A1068.
What do we know about parking there? Some nice little pubs and cafes down here.
Now bear left.
There's the castle.
In 140 yards, you will reach your designated road. You have arrived at your designated road.
Right.
Good. What we need to find is some designated parking.
Yeah.
What's that say there? No. We go in here? Yeah, we go in here.
Yeah, we park here somewhere. Yeah, because I think I looked this up before and I thought you could bring the van here. There was enough parking.
Okay. There's certainly plenty of parking anyway. We'll go over here, shall we? Yeah, well, there's plenty of parking with motorhomes here. We'll get here early, I suspect you'll be alright. Yeah, give you a nice view of the castle. we are, Warkworth Castle.
So the castle and the hermitage form one of the most unusual pairs of medieval monuments in Britain. The castle was probably laid out in its present form about 1200 and was a favoured residence of the powerful Percy family from the 14th to 17th century. As earls and later Dukes of Northumberland, they were among the greatest landowners in northern England. Nearby on the banks of the River Coquet, and accessible only by boat, are the remains of a chapel known as a hermitage, carved out directly out of a cliff rock.
You don't think we can go in, do we?
Well, you think you have to book your visit, and
Yeah.
it was closed most of last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's just another little bit about they don't really know the circumstances of when it was first built. Probably a residence belonging to the Anglo-Saxon Earls of Northumbria
Right.
before the Norman conquest of 1066. And there's some extra
Loads
bits
and loads of
about
stuff.
about it on the webpage.
Okay.
Who approaches?
It's one man riding alone.
Imagine, it's several hundred years ago. We're standing here just outside the castle. That horseman is riding up the hill towards us. This was then a drawbridge. But the soldiers on lookout above us know that one man presents no real threat. But just in case, other soldiers, armed with bows and arrows, are posted at the arrow slits. And as you look around, note how these openings are arranged. Every part of the moat can be covered. It's even possible to shoot arrows downwards through the so-called fishtail loops. And this gatehouse is the only way into Warkworth Castle, except for the West Postern Tower.
Who keeps the gate here? Who? Where is the Earl?
What shall I say you are?
Tell thou the Earl that the Lord Bardolph doth attend him here.
And that's how Shakespeare's play Henry IV Part 2 begins. The year is 1403. Lord Bardolph arrives at Warkworth Castle bringing news for the owner of the castle, Henry, the first English Earl of Northumberland and fourth Lord Percy of Alnwick. After being loyal supporters of King Henry, Henry Percy and his son, Harry Hotspur, had become angry with him, and with others formed a conspiracy against him. Hotspur, with an army of some 14,000 men, was marching towards Wales to join up with the Welsh to fight the king. But before that happened, King Henry and his army caught up with Hotspur and his men. A battle took place at Shrewsbury. Hotspur was in the front of the fighting. And now Lord Bardolph came with a message.
A noble Earl, I bring you certain news from Shrewsbury. The king is almost wounded to the death.
Good news for Hotspur's father, Henry Percy, 1st Earl of Northumberland, back here at Warkworth. But no sooner had Bardolph told this news than another messenger arrived. Young Hotspur had been killed in the fighting there at the Battle of Shrewsbury. That was tragic news, and Henry Percy needed to start making excuses for his own involvement. Henry IV's army bombarded Warkworth, and the castle surrendered. But Henry Percy survived, though that's another story, and one that took place away from here. But what of Warkworth's story? Well, there was a castle here long before the time of Hotspur and his father, certainly as early as 1158. In fact, there may have been a much earlier wooden one, but the first stone castle was probably started by yet another Henry. Henry, the son of King David I of Scotland. This would have been around the year 1140. Scottish Henry had been given a northern or Scottish title of Earl of Northumberland, not to be confused with the English title, which, as we heard, was granted to Henry Percy, Hotspur's father. Anyway, right back in the year 1140, Scottish Henry needed a castle to protect his lands in Northumberland. And so began the building and the history of Warkworth Castle. Over the next 100 years or so, it changed hands quite often. And it was in this period, the 13th century, that this gatehouse was built and besieged a number of times unsuccessfully. As you can see, it's not easy to get through it if you're an unwelcome visitor. Suppose you did get over the drawbridge and through the first gate. Walk now under the tower. As you do, look up. There are 2 slots. Down the first could be lowered a great iron-covered grille, the portcullis. The second slot is wider. The defenders of the castle could drop missiles down this onto any attackers. And if the attackers got past this, then they would find themselves, as you do now, in this vaulted chamber. The slits on either side are arranged so that you can be shot at easily. And because the courtyard end of this chamber could be closed by another iron gate, this would be quite an effective little death trap. But welcome visitors, like yourself, would soon be quickly through the gateway and across the open space in front of you, which is called the bailey, or outer ward. Warkworth is rare among English castles. Agreed, it follows the traditional motte and bailey plan, the motte being the mound on which the keep is situated, and the bailey being the walled space around it. That's the keep, with the flagpole on top. But what makes Warkworth exceptional is the fact that this keep is not simply a fortress. This is a house, very much a fortified home, a residence for a great family. As I said, the castle changed hands a number of times. In 1322, it became the home of the Percy family, a fortified home for a great family set safely here within the outer wall of the castle.
The illustration shows the outer ward in the early 15th century. At this time, the building of a great collegiate church in front of the keep had started. The grandiose foundation that was never completed, it's probably abandoned soon after 1455 or 1461, where the second or third earls were killed in battle. On the left are the ruins of an impressive set of domestic buildings dominated by the Great Hall and the Lion Tower. The powerful Earls of Northumberland were able to afford a double set of lodgings. Chapel, chamber hall, kitchen and ancillary buildings are all repeated in the keep. The buildings around the outer wall left a comparatively small area for activities such as tournaments and for accommodating troops. Probably some were billeted outside the town. And nearby Alnwick Castle was the Earl's principal residence, with Warkworth being their second fortified home. Here's the keep.
Dark in here.
Yeah. Not much I'll see in here. Wow, this is quite something, isn't it? Here's the wine cellar. Found the wine cellar anyway. I don't know what's happened to my guide, it's sort of blown up.
Yeah, this is the wine cellar. Do you want this camera? Would this be better in low light?
No, this is alright, it's pretty well lit in here, so it's okay. This keep is from about 1400, still large and complete, lacking only roofs and window glass. Stands on the mound of a Norman castle and incorporates some early masonry. A certain amount of restoration work was carried out in the 1850s, has no military features, and the portcullis slot behind us dates from the 1850s. A stately residence planned with great ingenuity. The rooms were carefully arranged within a compact plan to serve the state and private apartments of the Earls of Northumberland. Rooms interconnect not only with each other, but where necessary between floors. For example, wine could be brought directly upstairs from the wine cellar to the Great Hall. When the massively thick external walls are connecting passages, service stairs and garderobes. Inside, the light well seems to be the hub of the keep, but outside the tall lookout tower appears to be at the centre. In fact, both are off-centre, another example of sophisticated planning of this residence. Oh, there you are.
Cracking view out there.
Cracking view.
Yep.
Quite a good view out there. No, don't do it that way. There's a guard room. Like a font or something in there. Go up the stairs, if we can.
I don't think they go very far.
Let's have a look. Let me have a look, Pops.
Bobby, we'll just look from
I'm just going to
there.
look. It goes up. Oh, dear. Little room in here. I'll go around the other side.
Okay.
Oh no, thought I could, I can't. Lots of little cubby holes. Up, up, up. Oh. There you are. Come on then. Well, it's an amazing place, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Well, this is the beer cellar.
Oh, beer cellar. Oh,
It's big, isn't it?
Yeah. You can have a beer whilst looking out, can't you? Ooh, another set of stairs then. Yeah, there you go. Nice view. Let's go up here.
She's following you and I'm not.
You could follow me. Come on.
Big steps though.
You're all right once you're up here. See what's up here. The buttery and the pantry. Bobby, come here. Poppy. Right, go down that way as well. Can I just have a look around here?
Standing here with your back to the way you came in, the fireplace is on your right.
The Great Hall is the largest room in the keep at Warkworth. It was used not just for banqueting, but also when the Earl or Lord was holding court, acting on behalf of the King in this part of the country. So it had to be an impressive room. The walls still stand their full height, but of course the roof has decayed or been destroyed sometime in history. At the far end of the hall, in front of you, there would have been a dais or platform. On this would have been the high table where the Earl would sit with his specially honoured guests.
My faithful knights, I give you a toast. God save King Harry. King Harry! God save him!
And perhaps knights who were visiting the castle would tell fighting tales of a famous victory at Agincourt. Or maybe the Earl himself would tell of skirmishes against invading Scots. By the time this keep was built, the castle's owner would have been the second Earl of Northumberland, Harry Hotspur's son, and the grandson of the first Earl.
Excuse me, Pops. This is the Great Hall.
This is the private chapel of the Lord of the castle, not the public chapel or church used by soldiers, servants, or workmen. Distinguished guests and visitors came here to attend services, entering as you did from the Great Hall. The Earl and his family would attend a daily service here, usually the Mass, whenever they were living in the castle. They wouldn't stand or kneel where you are now. There used to be an upper story or balcony for them, which didn't extend the full length of the chapel.
Come on.
You can see the stone projections or corbels which supported the wooden floor of this upper story. And the family also had the luxury of a fireplace to keep them warm during winter services.
Would have been there, wouldn't it?
At the east end, on your right as you came in, is the sanctuary with its 2 steps. On these stood the altar, which could be seen both by visitors or servants standing on this floor and the family up in the balcony.
Poppy, could you just hang on a minute, please? Just a minute. Just go up. It's the chamber.
This is the smaller of 2 kitchens, with a fireplace which was perhaps for everyday use and warmth. The fire was probably a smallish one, kept burning in a brazier. You can step inside the fireplace, and to your left you will see the remains of a bread oven. Hot ash was put in it to heat it up, then raked out, and the bread itself put in and blocked up in there while it baked. Imagine the scene an hour or so before an important banquet was due to begin. The heat in this kitchen, used at special times like this, would be enormous, with a huge log fire blazing away in each fireplace.
There's the river down there. Right.
Not that exciting, that view.
It's not very exciting.
No,
What about
that
view over
one,
there?
that one's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fireplace there, pups, isn't it? It's nice.
It's gone.
Does it go anywhere, pups? No, just another garderobe. Loads of little nooks and crannies. Oh. The tap there, pups. An electricity board. This is the private chamber of the Percy family. And here's a lot of faded illustration shows how it might have looked in the early 15th century. It would have been comfortable and intimate compared with the atmosphere of the Great Hall. Being on the north side of the keep, it needed to be well heated, and this was provided by the large fireplace. The walls were lined with decorative tapestry, which also helped retain the warmth and keep out drafts. Two windows give magnificent views. Good views.
Yeah, it's the river down there, and there's the sea. The Castle Brew House down there.
Ooh. Just so much to explore in here.
Another fireplace here.
Yeah. Is this the smaller kitchen then?
Yeah, looks like it.
Again, another view out here. You don't get quite so good view out the kitchen, do you, really? Hey, you don't get any view at all, do you? There's the Great Tower. Well, obviously can't go up there, but got windows in it, so it must be in use. Yeah, well, I think we've explored all we can. Should we go back in there and just do an ending? Well, I found that a very confusing tour. These little guide things, obviously you can only hear them on your ear.
Yeah.
So you can't hear them on the mic.
No.
So I thought I'd try their Map My Visit QR code. And it was busily telling me all about the chapel and the Great Hall and everything, but there was a hall downstairs.
And we were in that, weren't
and we were
not
in that, not
in here.
in
this one here.
this one here. So I will see what I can do with the commentary and see if I can stitch some of it together. But I think Elsie was so busy coming in, so many people, I think she was overwhelmed and couldn't explain things properly.
No.
So,
No, I think the clue is that
yeah.
got those on the boards.
Yeah.
Because there were no boards downstairs either, were there?
No. Yeah, so as long as I've got enough footage, I will try and put some of it together.
It makes sense now when you were talking about the
great
fireplace.
fires. We're looking round for the great fireplaces.
just seeing like a little fireplace and thinking, yeah.
Yeah, what?
What? I think you're tired now, aren't you?
You had enough, are you, Pops?
You're not rushing about anymore.
No, stop rushing about. Are you going to do the ending?
He wants a lunch.
You're going to say, that's the ending. Poppy needs a lunch, so give us a thumbs up. Remember... Poppy, come here. Remember to subscribe and hit that notifications icon. Hey. And Poppy will bring you another... And Poppy will bring you another... And Poppy will bring you another tour. Won't you, Pops? Might do. Well, it is an impressive castle. I think we'll have to come back when we're a bit more organised or know what we're doing.
Look at that on there.
Oh yeah, wow. You're going to take a picture of that? To reset, it beeps and says English tour selected. I want your audio going like a TV until it beeps.
I think I beat there. Something beeped.
I can't get